Hold up, hold up, hold up. It's that boy Changeofplanz. Don't give a damn. He cooler than a fan. Walking real tall. Some say he's a man.
What's going on, man? Colts.
Colts in the building.
Man,
H-Gods.
What's poppin', man? Look. I want to say I appreciate your time.
Without a doubt.
Man, I'm a fan of your work. I like what's going on. I want to say, man, how's everything going with you, Coach?
I ain't dead yet. I'm not in jail. And I got some money in my pocket, so life is great right now, you know?
Yeah. And how you making it during this pandemic? You know, the coronavirus, COVID-19 is what they call it.
Yeah.
Has the whole country, it affected the whole world.
It is, but honestly, we're here to talk about the sport of graffiti.
Yeah.
And honestly, with people not being able to go outside, that shit makes it really easy to get over.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one, your face is already covered. This is mandatory, and this is how we like to operate.
Yeah.
So that's one. And yeah, I'm antisocial as fuck. So it's nice not having to deal with a lot of people.
Yeah. I understand that. Now let's get into it, man. This is something different for me, and I appreciate you being on Changeofplanz. I'm always looking for different stories.
Yep.
Always. So I'm big with hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
You know, hip hop is one of the most popular genres in the world.
Definitely.
But we don't talk about graffiti
and
how it influenced us and how it plays a major part in the culture.
Yep.
Now I want to go into like where you from. Like, how did you get first of all, where are you from for the people who don't know?
I'm from downstate New York, not to be confused with upstate New York City, a little place, you know, right above Westchester, below Albany, somewhere right in the middle. Good train scene. A lot of history there. You know, it's a hop, skip, and a jump to New York City. So
yeah.
But I started writing in 2005.
Yeah.
We're in 2020, so I got 15 years in the game. I got a baby face, but done a lot of work over the past years. But through skateboarding, really, you know, skateboarding is kind of a part of hip hop, in my opinion. But yeah, I'm antisocial. I go to a lot of places a lot of people don't go. And you learn to take notes of the things you see, and graffiti is one of the things I saw, and I'm like, yo, it's a sport where, unlike any other sport, if you fail at it, you don't have anybody else to blame but yourself, and that's the shit I like. Sole responsibility all on yourself. You can take full credit for everything you do, and yeah, that's kind of how I got into it, being antisocial.
Yeah. I understand, man. And see, like, when it comes to graffiti, the paint and stuff like that, when I saw it, I was like, wow. You know, and I think about Kush Groove and Backstreet. I think about B Street. I'm sorry.
All the old breakdancing films.
The breakdancing and stuff like that. Are you into breakdancing too? Do you know the people?
A lot of my I don't want to call them gangs, but it technically is more or less we are a gang. But we're a graffiti crew. We all have the same hobbies, and we're family outside of that, you know. But they all breakdance, they MC, they fuck with the turntables. I got a few homies that spit bars, so we're all tied together, you know. We're definitely all tied together.
And since you're from New York, you know, New York
is Mecca.
It's the birthplace of hip hop.
Yep.
Any artists that you listen to, your favorite artists right now that you want to reveal to the people?
Well, like I said, Griselda, they're holding it down right now for gutter, boom bap. Jadakiss, always top 5 dead or alive in my opinion. But I listen to everything. I'm down in Texas, so you know. Rest in peace, Pimp C. Been getting into that.
Straight up.
You know.
Straight up. Now, you started in New York. How did you end up in Dallas?
Chasing money. Really, just chasing money. Went from the East Coast, did a little stint in LA. That was cool. Work took me out here, and yeah. Plus the Third Coast. You know, it's a big city. I like it. I'm down for change. And the graffiti scene down here is crazy. When they say everything's bigger in Texas, the graffiti's bigger too.
Oh, Austin, Texas has a big graffiti scene as well.
Houston has a couple legends that came out of Houston that really killed shit. Rest in peace, Next. He was on some next level shit.
Next level.
Yeah.
So what's the, migrating from New York to LA, what's the major difference when it comes to culture? What's the big culture shock as far as graffiti, music?
Definitely music. Being so close to Mexico, the food is great. Like Kendrick said, women, weed, and weather. I used to smoke mad weed back in the sour diesel days, but you go out and people are giving away weed out in California. That shit's unreal to me. And like you can get pulled over smoking a clip and cops don't give a fuck about that shit. So that was kind of crazy. Cops are way more mellow in California than they are in New York, which was, I'm not used to that.
And speaking of cops, you know, shout out to our officers. We don't disrespect cops or whatever, but we're gonna be honest, and we're gonna talk about the reality of what we see. When it comes to painting or graffiti, we know that it's illegal in certain ways, but at the end of the day, I'm looking at it as if a person expressing themselves on whatever.
Oh, without a doubt.
You know, can you go in about your experience with the graffiti, like especially how long you've been doing? When was your first run in with the authorities, and how did you handle all these different situations?
So, I didn't even do illegal graffiti when I first got into it. I was young. I was 18. I was like, I'm not trying to ruin my life catching a felony for graffiti. I did a legal wall in someone's basement. I got popped in a parking lot, and I had paint on me. I didn't have any caps, like the spray tips that you put in to spray different lines. I took all that off, so I couldn't actually do graffiti on my way home. Got arrested, got beat up by a cop, parking enforcement with the detectives watching because I was parked illegally. And I went to jail my first night at 18, and I was like, shit, I wasn't even doing graffiti, and I got arrested and went to jail. Beat the case, it was bullshit, you know. But since then, I kind of snapped, you know. I was like, fuck, like, I'm not even doing shit and I'm getting in trouble. Like, I might as well fucking make a mess, you know, like. And also the way I think about it is like, I never like to violate people's personal property. Like, if I pay taxes that go to that, I feel like you have the right to write on it. You do, everybody does. That's, you know, public property. We all own that. We all pay taxes, we all own that shit. So that's kind of like the direction I like to stay in, but that obviously changes here and there, depending on the mood.
Now for some people, they're gonna say, well, he still was doing something illegal, regardless of the fact, regardless if he paid for it or not. You know what I'm saying? Like, for the people who look at it that way, what you have to say for them? Because on the outside looking in, they don't care. They just like, oh, it's wrong, regardless of how beautiful or skilled or talented you are with the paint can.
Yeah, I mean, the way I see it, there's a lot of illegal shit. Like, one, it's job security. I'm giving someone a job to go out and like buff over shit. You know, that's a job for them. If you're a real writer, you don't pay for shit. So we steal a lot of like spray paint, you know, that's natural. You got to steal that shit, especially if you have like if you get up a lot, you can't afford $4 or $5 a can, you know. So we got loss prevention at, like, you know, I'm not gonna say where you get it. If you write, you know where to get paint from. Supplying a lot of jobs. People also don't understand graffiti. They don't understand, like, you know, it looks aggressive, it looks violent, and that's where like the misconception really happens, you know. Outside of graffiti, I'm a great person. I do a lot of good shit for people, but I feel like, yeah, it's just a big misconception. They don't understand it, you know. If someone painted a flower on the wall and they didn't have permission, no one would ever question them. Cops would drive by like, oh, they're painting a fucking flower. That shit's cool. But as soon as I'm painting my name, it's like guerrilla advertising in a sense.
Yeah.
You know, you go to New York or even LA, you see posters, the same poster. That shit's all illegal, but it doesn't look violent. So like, no one's chasing that.
So how did you get into it? Or what made you say, man, I'm gonna take this stuff serious as far as painting and being a consistent graffiti artist?
I fell in love with it. It's an addiction. It really is. Like I said, I don't like being around a lot of people, you know, and you find yourself under a bridge somewhere in like a drainage ditch or a tunnel, and I'm by myself, and it's like meditation in a sense, you know. Like painting anything, only I like to do large scale shit, and also I like to be in nature. A lot of these spots are in nature, you know. Train yards are out in the middle of nowhere most of the time. It's like you're not gonna get fucked with out there. So one, it's safe because I'm not like worried about painting a highway and falling off some shit or going to jail, you know.
And speaking of jail, I know you said you had run in with the police. Like, how many times have you been arrested? What are some of the horror stories or realities that people need to know about what you guys experience? Because I mean, y'all are a community as well. You know, you got the skateboarders, the rappers, the singers, but as far as the artists, the painters, y'all have feelings too. Y'all go through things too. So
definitely,
I want you to open up and tell the people things that you've gone through pursuing your graffiti career.
So, as far as getting arrested, 6 times I've been arrested for graffiti. And the craziest part is, if you cause more than $250 worth of damage in the state of New York, for instance, I think California is $500, that's a felony. Now mind you, you could steal my car and crash that shit, and that might not be a felony. So like, just that, getting a felony off graffiti alone, fucked my whole head up. I'm like, I'm snapping on this shit. Like, one, if I get arrested again, it's not gonna make my life any worse. Having multiple charges for the same petty shit is not that serious to me, you know? So, yeah, that kind of fucking rubbed me the wrong way. I did 6 months in jail, 5 years felony probation, that really sucked. Lost jobs, relationships, borrowed a lot of money from people, you know. That shit was crazy, and I kind of got more aggressive after that. I wanted to kind of wild out a little bit, you know. But also, a lot of kids start out doing graffiti, and that shit isn't good. So I had already practiced the craft and got like nice letters down before I started doing illegal shit. So I was already addicted to it. It was only like a matter of time.